So I was looking into my stuff to make something with, and I came across with this thing. Just shove it in my stash. This is a ruffle collar that I made to use for some photos. However, this thing doesn't work so well, like it doesn't tie into the back of the neck. And I always have the intent to reuse it for something. And when I found it in my things, I remember of this image. Now, this image is, I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's a piece of decor. So the image I am referring to is this one, and is an ornamental frame by the brand or creator called Caliela. I don't know if that is the way that you pronounce it, but and I'm probably butchering, but it is an ornamental frame. And what I'm trying to explain to you is that this picture sent me into kind of a rabbit hole of textile wall decor, and that is how I came up with the idea of making a banner. Yeah, I think it's just that. And I started to look up for references or more things in the same vein. In the end, I end up having the idea of making a banner of this thing, like a little small banner in this rectangular part. I don't know how I'm gonna hang it yet. I don't know if I'm gonna make some loops in here. I may do that, or if I'm gonna chain and put some of those little metal loops in here just to hang it. I have some ideas for the design, but I'm not sure yet. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna keep the ruffles in this. I also have to pick this apart anyway because I'm gonna be embroidering on it. Yeah, but before I start picking this thing, we have to go make a design. So let's do that. Okay, so basically I noticed that I didn't explain anything about my plans for the design. So one of my first ideas was to embroider a sword, because then I could take advantage of the verticality of the fabric, and I wanted something medieval looking, so I was going in this way. And I'm saying medieval with big quotation marks because I'm going more for like a vibe than accuracy. However, I did base my design of the sword into drawings that I saw in marginalias, that illustrations that old documents or medieval documents or text for the church and things like that. You know, those weird illustrations. So I vaguely base my design of the sword in those pictures, and also pictures from museums and reproductions of swords of that period. And having the images for reference really helped to solidify what I was visualizing with my first idea. Also, in the matter of color, I decided to keep it simple and go with black for the contour of the sword and the red for the blood in the final part of the blade. I'm doing the blood part because I think it creates a lot of contrast between the black, the red, and the white of the fabric. Also, I like the look of this color palette. I think it's gonna be very interesting, especially some part of my wall that is green. As for any more details, I still don't know if I'm gonna do them. I don't know if I'm gonna do the stars or anything like that. So that is on open. But yeah, that's kind of it for the design. So, for the design of this sword, I decided to go with this one that has a more simple design. Like, I take off this little triangle. I think the handle should be a little more straight, a little bit more, oh sorry, narrow. And but for the embellishments on the side, if I end up doing any of them, I will probably go with the black stars. I think they look better. Also, I don't know if I'm gonna do a fringe. I'm gonna finish the embroidery first, and then I'm see if I'm gonna do some kind of fringe or some kind of beading on here. Yeah, that's it. So after picking the color, I went to size the design up, and was like a back and forth kind of situation. I measure, I see it on the fabric, then I redo it and scale a little more. My main preoccupation in this case was that the design ended up getting caught in the seam allowance or too close of the edges of the fabric, because if I was passing through the sewing machine and end up going a little more than the seam allowance, I could catch in the design. So when I certified that none of this would happen, I could move on to the next stage, which was pass the design to the fabric. So to transfer the design to my fabric, I decided to do only half and on transparent paper so I could flip it and copy the same side again and maintain the symmetry as much as possible. To transfer the drawing to my fabric, I use the window method. Basically, you just put your drawing against the window, the fabric on top of the sheet of paper, and you trace the lines because it just become very easy to see because of the light. So, since this is a very small piece of fabric, to actually fit it in one of my embroidery hoops, I will have to make some kind of extension, and I did it with scraps. You just paste them on the sides of the piece of fabric that you're going to embroider, and then you can actually pull on it. However, because I use very long strips of fabric, the excess can be in the way sometimes, so I had to pin those down. But if you use scraps that are shorter, you probably not gonna have to deal with this. But if longer ones is all that you have, you can just pin the excess out of the way and be careful to not catch any of that excess fabric. And after all that, I can start in the fun part, which is embroidering the whole thing. And after all the embroidery, I can put the front piece and the back piece together. And right after, I had to unpick one of the top sides because I closed the wrong one. Then it was just a matter of sewing the tabs, which I did by hand and was kind of a hellish process. Don't look too close, it's not good. And finally my banner was finished. So it's finished and it's looking like this. I probably feel like I could put it starting here, but I can do that later. As for hanging it, I'm probably gonna reuse this stick that I have from old hangers, broke hangers, and I didn't do the little pole thing and the string yet because I don't know where I'm gonna hang it. I have to reorganize some stuff here yet, like this is still a mess, but I have to reorganize some stuff in the room so I can decide where I wanna hang it. But for now it's like ready, and it's funny because I can do a flag with it too if I want, but I think it's too heavy. But yeah, it's ready. I really like it. So yeah, this is the video for this week and I hope you enjoy. Thank you if you stay until the end, and bye until next. Why so hot? Now let me go. I have to clean my house and I'm already very late. Bye!